Hey there, Nettie here. Welcome back to Transcending Love. If you're returning and if you're new, welcome on in this thing. Have a little sit down, kick off your shoes, relax your feet. I was gonna go anyway. Just welcome, welcome to Sillyville, where we have a lot of fun, we show a lot of love, and we learn about loving ourselves more intimately into the most sacred version of ourselves, the highest version. And again, I am Nettie. I channel messages from spirit to the collective and for the good of all, and in love and in light. Only light. We don't operate in darkness over here. Okay? Okay. So if you like it, stick around. Love to have you here. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know how life is going, how these things resonate with you, if they do. Anyway, how you doing? How your mom and them doing? Hopefully everybody doing fantabulous. I am. And per usual, I'm back with another message. So listen, as you go on in this life, it's significant to note that all of the messages that you receive from God, from Spirit, from Universe, ancestors, your spirit team, whole nine, they're not always extremely clear. Sometimes they are some of the most clear and unclear messages. What I mean by that is sometimes you'll hear something very clearly, or you'll feel a nudge very prominently, and you'll be certain what the directive is, but there'll still be some very uncertain elements in there, right? Spirit does that quite a bit. And I have to imagine that it's only to get you more attuned, or get us all more attuned to our inner guidance, so that we know and are more familiar with it the more we get it. And we know exactly where to go, when to go, and how to go. And some of it is also to get us to lean more heavily into further guidance. Because if I tell you, put your shoes on, then you put your shoes on, but then it begs the question, why am I putting my shoes on? So in that same way, you're trying to figure out, why am I putting my shoes on, where am I going to, like, what's the meaning of me having my shoes on right now? So if it causes you to dig deeper into the meaning of a thing. And this is just the mystery of God. This is the mystery of spirit and how spirit works. It seems like a huge mystery, but it's really just to cultivate this confidence in knowing this guidance within yourself. The breadcrumbing. You listen, this is the only kind of way you want to be breadcrumbed, okay? Don't tolerate it from nobody else. This is actually for your good. Um, but yeah, so Spirit wanted to talk about that just briefly, to clear that up and how that often looks. Spirit comes to you, and this is another reason why Spirit always has me to tell you all about signs and synchronicities, because that's what all of this is. Like, these are the breadcrumbs, these are the trails, the pieces on the trail that get you in alignment, and they get you following more intently after this guidance, because they force you to find the remainder of the pieces, the remainder of the pieces to the puzzle of your guidance. This, you don't, you, if you knew exactly where you were going, you wouldn't have more questions. You wouldn't be compelled to seek the depth of relationship that comes with needing to know the remainder of the details. So it's necessary in this journey. And it really happens with everything, every single thing. Like, uh, this life is about harmony. So there cannot be like, excuse me, without darkness, there cannot be yin without yang. There can't be um good without bad. I do that because I don't I'm not of the belief that anything is good or bad. It is the isness, it is contrast, but contrast is necessary in life, is the point. So, with that, one thing always leads you to the next. Every single time in every single situation, you take the path is not fully illuminated. When you take one step, then you get the next step, and that's what everything. That's if you want to do, if you want to be a business owner, if you want to be a property owner, if you want to be an owner of any kind, if you want to expand in any way, you need those next steps. You need the next inspired action. So it requires you to ask and to look within for what comes next. Spirit has all those answers for you in there, but um, sometimes they don't make full right sense. they don't make they make sense, but they don't make sense. And sometimes you don't even realize some of the things that spirit does in preparation for something that comes later. That's all your whole life is a setup for the next greatest thing. And you don't even be knowing. You don't even be knowing. Like, you have a little hint of knowledge of it, but you don't even really be knowing. All those details, they all add up, they all matter. All those relationships, with the friends that you had that you're not friends with no more, with the boyfriends and girlfriends you had that you're not in association with anymore. It's a reason why they didn't last, but it's a reason why they came. You learned many things from them. They taught you how to be and how not to be, and gave you those next steps for those future relationships. They set the groundwork for you to know how you would desire to be treated and how you don't desire to be treated. Listen, in some of them you kept repeating because you wasn't quite getting it, but at some point you finally start getting it, and you're like, we're not gonna do that, never again. But that's the purpose, so that you can get all the necessary components to this most fulfilling life of yours. You would not know contentment if you never been discontent, right? You wouldn't know fulfillment if you never been unfulfilled. You'd never know satisfaction if you had not ever been unsatisfied. This is the isness of life. So that said, I want you to know that as you expand in this life, spirit begins to give you more in some of the most unusual ways, right? You cannot, oh, thank you, spirit. Spirit was reminding me to say this part. You cannot fully fathom what goes on in spirit with the human mind. So you got to be flexible, and you got to be able to go with the flow of wherever spirit is taking you without understanding it. Logic is a huge distraction. It will get in the way more often than it won't where spiritual things are concerned. So you have to make sure that you are fine tuned to spirit, and you follow the inspired action or the inspired leading. You take the inspired action off of the inspired leading, regardless as to whether you understand it or not. You do not have to understand what spirit is saying in the moment to do it. Let's be very clear about that. As long as you have the necessary part to do that spirit is said to do, just do it every single time. It is gonna blow your mind. You're gonna love it. You're gonna feel like the most magical thing in the world. Why? Because you are. It feels so damn amazing to be able to have all the answers to your problems or to your circumstance more so than problems. It is so fulfilling to be able to stop and take a breath and tap in and be like, Spirit, what do I do right here? I don't know how to navigate this next space. I need you to help me right here. And sometimes instantly you get the answer. Other times you go on after you do that, you wrap it up, go do something else. And in the midst of doing something else, Spirit be like, here, do this. Sometimes it's audible, sometimes it's a feeling. You got to know to follow both. So it's important to fine tune. So we have to keep working at it. It's a constant work because the flesh, this human part of us, it wants to be the bigger part. The more we feed it, the more we make it feel like it is the bigger part, but it's really spirit that's the bigger part. So we got to keep on what you focus on grows. So you focusing on spirit, you focusing on this cultivation of this more spiritual component or aspect of who you are. That is the part of you that continues to grow. That's the part that you want to be the loudest. But yeah, so just be comforted in knowing that sometimes it don't make all the sense in the world. And so Spirit keeps telling me to give y'all a more practical example. So one of the things that I do for myself is, and every now and then I'll pull cards for you guys whenever I'm channeling a message. But I haven't done it in a long time, and it's not something I do all the time with you all. But I pull cards, tarot cards, for me every day. And when I was pulling the set of cards today, the card that was most representative of my energy flew past where I could see. But when I picked it up, it was upside down. And then I chose the next card is the obstacle or the thing that crosses you or your challenge card. So I'll show you. So this is the card that I pulled first that flew. It flew across and I couldn't see it. It was behind my leg. And when I picked it up, I had determined to take it in the upright, which is the Queen of Wands. Self-actualized, confident, extroverted, charmer, queen who nurtures and cultivates with fire and power. She's seen in the upright, right? So when I picked it up, I picked it up in the reverse, but I was determined to take it in the upright because it's not that I'm against it, but I rarely take cards in the reverse. So this card popped out next as the challenge card, right? The King of Wands, which is extroverted as well. He is the confident one. He is bold. He knows how to utilize relationships, the whole bit. Seen, right? And feminine energy, masculine energy of the creative, fiery space. So I put it down. I was like, okay. So my challenge card is the masculine energy of this. What is this telling me? So that automatically told me that I probably needed to look at the book to see what it talked about in reverse. Spirit had already been talking to me about certain things in this season about change and making sure that I'm getting my face out there and making sure I'm getting my voice out there and making sure I'm making myself, shining a light on myself. Y'all might not be able to tell this, but I ain't always been in the forefront. I ain't always been letting the light shine on me. I've been cool from the background, chilling. But Spirit has lately been saying to make sure that I'm being more extroverted and more out there, letting my light shine, so to speak. And when I read what the card says in reverse, I'll tell you what it says. It says the Queen of Wands reverse can signify the asker is experiencing low self confidence and self belief. They have been hiding physically and emotionally, isolating themselves from others. Nervousness and inflexibility can interfere with your plans. Your ambitions are unreasonably great. Beware of sticking your nose in other people's business. Don't try to force your values on others. So, the part of this that is significant and for me is they have been hiding physically and emotionally isolating themselves from others. And it's not that I hide, I just don't be going out. I am a homebody. I be liking to be at home. I like being outside depending on like what's going on, what I'm doing. I'll be outside and I'll have a good time and I'll be glad I'll be outside. But I'm not pressed to not go outside. I'll be chilling in here. So, Spirit is expanding me and expanding the gifts that I have. So it's important for me to be seen. Also, my polarity sign is Leo. Leo is all about being seen. That's the part that requires a bit of help on my side. Because I don't got to be seen. And you would think, but I don't got to be seen. I'll be cool with not being seen. But Spirit is saying, no, it's time to be seen. So that's the significance of that. And so, all of that to say, again, all things are here for us as signs and synchronicities, as the breadcrumbs that are necessary to get us the necessary information for where we are in life. Spirit had been giving me that message about being seen. I'd been feeling it. I'd been hearing it. I'd been hearing it from within and from without. I've been hearing it from other readers and channelers and all of that. So I knew, and I know that I've taken resonance with this word because I've had a number of confirmations. So take the signs when they're given to you. And then just to kind of further add to the whole situation, I got the Hermit card as the root. I can't make this up for y'all. I just can't do it. I listen. I like to think I'm a decent storyteller, but I don't, I can't make it up for you. The Hermit card is just that. The hermit, the one that spends a lot of time inside, generally inside of themselves, that is me. I am as introspective as it comes, and I am okay being inside the house, inside myself. So, and being led by this internal light, this internal guidance. That is me all day long. So, yeah, Spirit is just, relaying that message to me through these cards yet again as an additional confirmation. And life is just magical in that way. You are magical in that way. Spirit will go through, I always tell y'all that Spirit will do what's necessary to get you the message, but you got to make sure that you're open to it. You got to make sure that you're flexible. You got to make sure that you're in a position to actually be able to hear and receive whatever the message is without allowing your human brain to get in the way. You just follow the guidance of Spirit, and all things will work out for sure. Nothing crazy is gonna happen. So anyway, yeah, that's a couple of cards, and Spirit was pointing at those because that stood out. Oh shit! To go even further, if you just for another example, I got And the possible position is the death card. And death symbolizes a death and rebirth, which is just a new beginning, a renewal. You are leaving things behind, you're entering a new place in your life. That's what that card symbolizes. And what do you know? Expansion is rebirth, expansion is renewal, expansion is a death of what you've known before that wasn't expansion. Death is to everything that was the former version of you that's no longer necessary to go forward into the next place. So if this resonates, take it as a postcard, take it as a message. If it doesn't, on the personal front, just know that this was used as an example. This is my read, and what Spirit showed me to show y'all as an example of how Spirit just gives you these different things that you don't necessarily understand. This is often called esoteric knowledge or esoteric wisdom. There is knowledge and wisdom inside of you that you would not believe. You would not believe. And it all comes out as soon as you open up to it. Ain't nothing dark, ain't nothing demonic about it, ain't nothing crazy about it. It's all light, assuming you're using it for light. But even to go a little further, the original component of it is always light. Now, people choose to use it for darkness, and that is another way to use it. I don't recommend it, but some people do. Like I said at the start, we're not doing it over here. Anyway, I leave you this message in love and in light. Use your magic, shine your light, remain flexible, remain curious. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and until next time, toodaloo.